Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go to the latest update from Ukraine to the South Frontlines, where Ukraine moved forward from Robotyne, expanding the very important bridgehead. There were already the fights in this area around 3 days ago. Then Ukrainian army advanced from Robotyne westbound, and today we took more ground. Let's look at the timeline. So it was yesterday and it is today. Here Ukraine has two of the vectors, one between Nestyryanka and Kapani, and the other one is from Robotyne. Also, our army continued to push Russians directly to Novoprokopivka. This vector stayed there for more than 1 month, maybe already 2 months. At the same time, the south of Ukraine is very slow, and it is already late to perform the vast attacks by our army. Moreover, we don't have resource for it right now. The main strategy for Ukraine is to get more resources during the winter campaign and start new attack during the spring or summer time. There will be the movement on the front lines during the winter time too, but not significant. Also, we have the map clarification in this area on the north from Boeing. So yesterday, today, just received the data that Ukraine actually took the ground, but not as much as expected at first. So it's not the Russian advancement over here. This is the update from the other source. Here you can see that Ukraine successfully took the ground with fighting. Here, Ukraine still pushes Russians in Verbova. Russia doesn't have their attack vectors in this place, and Russia has the paratroop divisions combined with their regular army forces in this place. So there is still the movement. Ukraine uses artillery systems, Russia uses surveillance over Robotyne because they want to hit our forces over there, and also they use the Kornet anti-tank system to target our tanks. Here they use artillery, and Ukraine also uses surveillance and artillery all over the place. But the main hotspot for now is obviously Avdiivka. Before we go to it, let me tell you about the partner and the sponsor of my channel. It is, as usual, the Atlas VPN. They have now the great deal with a huge discount for the Atlas VPN Premium that you may get just for $149 per month plus 12 months extra. It is the unique Black Friday deal that was made especially for my followers. If you don't care about your digital security, my friends, think twice. 5 years ago, I lost my Pilot Blog YouTube channel and I have to restart it. Basically, my device was hacked. If I would have used Atlas VPN, it won't be happening. So I tried many VPNs since that time, but for Atlas VPN, I trust the most. Also, Atlas VPN grants me the full access to any kind of series on the Netflix streaming platform. So I don't care about the government restrictions any longer. And sometimes I check the enemy site, social media, and for that I also use the Atlas VPN. You can basically change your virtual location to any point in the world. And Atlas VPN is so fast that you will never feel the difference whether it's on or off. But I do recommend it to keep it on all the time. So now my friends, please check out my personal link in the video description just below, or scan the QR code available on the screen, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium just for $149 plus 12 months extra. The unique Black Friday deal is time limited and valid just for my followers, so hurry up to join the club. Alright, now about Avdiivka. The situation there is getting hotter and hotter. Let's go to today's day, and Russia advanced over here directly to the residential area of Avdiivka. They are not yet in that place, but they took more ground today. Unfortunately, it was yesterday and it is today, so they took several of the buildings under their control and also expanded the gray zone. So Ukrainian army is not controlling this place anymore. We have the other source for the confirmation, so some of the buildings were taken by Russians. They advanced using their tanks and the gray zone goes all over this place. However, Ukraine still keeps control over this area. I will try to find some more information about the Russian forces and today's attack, whether they were ambushed or not. From what I saw, they already tried to advance from this roundabout towards Ukrainian positions, but all of their attempts were unsuccessful for them. Today it's their first success in the area unfortunately. Okay, now let's go to the north flank near to Vysela. Russia advanced from this lake. Let's check out the timeline. So yesterday and today is like that. They took more ground near to Vysela. However, Ukraine was able to repel the Russian attacks and push them away from Stepove. So yesterday and today clearly we have some movement, and it's not in favor of Russia. However, the gray area is still quite big. The most risky situation for Ukraine is this assault vector of the Russian army. Let's measure the distance from this place, from the gray area, let's say, to this road which Ukraine uses for supplies. It's just 1.5 kilometers, even less than 1 mile. So what is 1 mile for the superior Russian army? If they concentrate enough forces, they have the chance to go and take this supply road, which Ukraine crucially needs for this place. Yes, there is also the secondary road. It goes from Tonenki, but it's also close to the front lines, and it's the secondary road with a bridge across the river, which easily could be damaged by the Russian artillery or aviation bombs. So mainly, if we lose this road to Orlivka, it's time to say that Ukraine should withdraw the forces from Avdiivka using the other roads. Other than that, I didn't see any chances for Ukraine to keep Avdiivka under control for a very long time. Unfortunately, it's like that, so Ukraine needs to concentrate forces or resources to fight back Russians in this particular flank. And from what I saw, Ukraine already performed a counterattack operation, pushing them closer to the railroad. However, Russians attack from the other place, from Vysela, which is a little bit further from this supply road. The situation in Avdiivka is not good for Ukraine. However, we still have the time to save it, and it's not that critical as many say. But Russia continued to push Ukraine also from the other directions. For example, today again for the third time they tried to reach Klishivka, this time taking more ground. So it was yesterday and it is today. They have advanced using this road. But here is the railroad, so it's stopped for now, the Russian advancement. Sadly, now Ukrainian army goes on defense. Russia is using this period of the year for their slight advancement. So here we see the advancement of the Russian army at the particular place, but from the other map source. This is the Klishivka village, and they're very close to reach the residential buildings or what is left from them. Is Russia able to take Klishivka under control? Obviously, it just depends on the resources they want to use and lose as well. Because now, yes, they're gaining the ground, but according to statistics, they are losing 80% of all of their forces, 80% of everything they use for attacks. It means that every Russian soldier with every attack is playing the Russian roulette, but in their revolvers, let's say, just one bullet hole is empty. About the Ukrainian advancement near to Shumy village, so we have also clarification. It was yesterday, it is today, so definitely Ukraine took more ground than expected. So still the fights are ongoing. Both of the sides have losses, especially the Russian one. They have tremendous losses, so everything is boiling around the front lines, but without the great movement as we saw last year, for example, or this year at the very beginning of the Ukrainian counterattack on the south, or in Bakhmut. The Chinese-made vehicles again were spotted, this time in Kherson direction, not far away from Krinky. As you can see, they are used to carry some of the equipment for the Russian snipers. Yes, those vehicles are in lack of the armor, but they don't need it because they are very mobile and usually used far behind the front lines. Meanwhile, our soldiers are filming the videos from Krinky itself, so they are in this village, in the central part of it, and they expand the bridgehead to both of the sides. Hopefully they'll have enough support and enough resources to establish the robust bridgehead, and then the regular Ukrainian armed forces will be sent there for the further movement. Otherwise, I don't see the idea of this landing operation. There should be the next step in further advancement deeper inside the Russian-controlled territory. This is the Krinky village itself. As you can see, Russia is using lots of the aviation bombs and artillery to target our positions over there. That is one more reason why Ukraine shouldn't just keep the forces over there for the very very long time losing them. We need to move forward. Just need to have the robust connection, some sort of the pontoon bridge over here and over here for the successful future advancement. The landing operation is obviously great, but it should have the plan. What is the next step and the next one? But Ukraine also targets the Russian position. For example, their headquarters were attacked by Ukrainian rocket artillery, probably HIMARS. So they have some of the equipment nearby. So for sure it is the military object that was attacked, and that is what is left from this building. Somehow the Russian BTR was able to leave this building, so they had the ammunition, probably ammunition depot or even the command headquarters. For now I'm out of the information about the Russian losses because of that attack. The building is located 53 kilometers from the front lines. It's around 30-31 miles away. So probably again HIMARS was used. And here are some pictures of this particular Russian military base. The awesome target for the Ukrainian army, the Russian Tor M2, the advanced air defense system, which was targeted by the American-made Switchblade 600. They were guided by the Ukrainian-made Shark drones. Two of the Switchblades targeted this system, totally demolishing it. The experts from Oceanist analyzed the satellite images of the Russian airfields not far away from the front lines, and they say that Russia has not more than 25 active K-52 attack helicopters, which they might potentially use in the war against Ukraine. With the help of the manpads and couple of the strikes of ATACMS missiles on the Russian airfields, Ukraine caused severe losses, especially to those attack helicopters. So Russia doesn't have enough aircraft to carry out the attack missions on Ukrainian tanks. Russia even moved some of the helicopters to Taganrog, really far away from the front lines, so they are unable to use them any longer in the actual fight. Before the full-scale attack on Ukraine, Russia had something between 140 and 160 helicopters of that type. They still produce those, but not more than 5 per year. Probably now they expedite the production. The European Union plans to ban the Russian diamonds next year. Awesome news. However, I think that Russia will find the ways to sell their diamonds to the third countries, and after that they will be sold to the European Union, because there is no specific mark on the diamond that it is made in Russia. They might be sold, for example, to China, and they would say that it's their diamonds. It is definitely hard to control this market, as well as the oil market, which Russia uses to gain the most of their funds. The European Union is, by the way, freely buying the Russian gas and oil and other fossil fuels. I was wondering why the United Arab Emirates and the Saudi Arabia is buying the Russian oil, but my mate, probably you know him, he's also a YouTuber, Jack Bro, hello to you. He said to me that Saudi Arabia and UAE are buying the Russian oil because it is cheap. The price of it is usually $60 per barrel, so they just buy it with this price and sell it with a higher price, probably saying that it's their oil. Well, I'm really out of the information about the diamond market, but I think it could be the same over here, because it is not a technological product, for example, as iPhone. So I think that authorities finally are able to identify the origin of the country. Yes, diamonds have the papers, but it's just the paper. The big number of the Western media sources continue to say that Ukraine should negotiate with Russia, but they also admit that probably negotiations won't start until the elections of the president in the United States are over. The similar articles went out in The Time, The Economist, and in Foreign Affairs media sources. They speak about the standstill, dead end situation for both of the countries, and it doesn't play good for Ukraine because Russia still has enormous resources. This one is interesting. West could propose Ukraine to exchange the negotiations with Russia as exchange to join the European Union and NATO alliance. But if Trump wins the next elections, there is the doubt that NATO would still exist. Those are not my words, it is from the article. They also say that President Zelensky will not agree on negotiations with Russia. That is why I see why many of the media sources start to bite Zelensky. He is bad, he is bad, he is bad. So probably he's not convenient now for Russia and also for some of our allies. Some of our allies would like to negotiate to stop the war at current point. But unfortunately, it just leads to escalation, because after Russia gains enough resources, they would attack Ukraine once again with more forces. And the second time, believe me, they will reach their goals. And there will be the question about the war between Russia, Ukraine and Belarus against NATO. Putin himself is not willing to negotiate until the end of elections in the United States. We see how the Russian army now attacks on the front line, so they're not willing to stop actually. Russia collects drones and missiles to attack Ukrainian infrastructure during the winter time, yes. Russia is able to produce more than 2 million artillery shells in 2024 and hundreds of new or repaired tanks. Ukraine doesn't have this stuff. We rely just on help from our partners. Yes, we have some production, but we're not speaking about millions, maybe thousands. We were promised from the European Union with 1 million artillery shells till the March of 2024, but so far we have just 300,000. Pessimists say that Putin might continue this war for years, and probably I'm pessimistic also, or more or less realistic. If there is no significant change with ammunition support of Ukraine, Putin will continue because he has more sources or resources to send and burn in this war, unfortunately. And this scale of war is all about resources. Who has more usually wins. Chancellor Scholz again calls Putin to withdraw the forces from Ukraine. He's willing to call Putin and negotiate something, I don't know what. He already called many times together with Macron. There is nothing you can do with that bastard. I think that Putin is just goal-oriented. He still has support in Russia, so he will go all in Ukraine. The talks continue to block the Tik Tok platform in the United States. Well, for me, Tik Tok is the nice source to get the information from the front lines, because there are many of the Ukrainian soldiers who post the content on TikTok. I wonder why, but it's quite popular in Ukraine. Before there were mostly kids, but now you may find even soldiers. I would say that this platform basically understands what you are searching for and gives it to you, based on your preferences and your lifestyle. The Wall Street Journal refers to officials who say that there is the anti-Israeli propaganda. I found more pro-Israeli propaganda on TikTok, maybe because, again, it depends on your particular preferences. A beautiful launch of the Starship rocket today by the SpaceX company. Unfortunately, this rocket exploded after the booster separation, so they will analyze and maybe next time it will be better. There is the big scandal again with Elon Musk and his Twitter or X platform. In one of his retweets or comments, he supported the idea that some of the pro-Israeli communities spread the hatred towards whites. He commented, "You're telling truth." After that, many of the sponsors left Twitter, like Apple, Disney, Warner Bros., Discovery, Paramount, Sony Pictures. Now Twitter costs more than half less compared to what Elon Musk bought the company at first. Well, honestly, after Elon Musk took on this platform, the censorship lowered, but sometimes in recommendations I have the Russian propaganda on Twitter. I don't have it on Telegram, by the way. That's why I use it as my alternate source. There, if you subscribe for a particular channel, you just follow it and you don't have other recommendations, let's say. In Twitter, if you search like war in Ukraine, you'll have tons of the Russian propaganda. That is what I don't like about Twitter, and also I don't like their premium. It is very expensive, like $23 per month in my country, and without it you cannot really upload the same amount of the information as I upload on Telegram. Without the premium account you are very restricted on Twitter. You cannot upload many photos, you cannot put large posts, basically nothing without premium. I have the Twitter account and sometimes I post there too, but mostly I'm concentrated on Telegram. It's just more convenient for me and I think for user. Now Elon Musk wants to sue some of the media corporation for this scandal. I don't know why and what will happen. Well, the first trial starts on Monday and we'll see. As for me, if he commented under this post that Israeli communities are spreading violence against whites, it means that he is the strange guy who supports the conspiracy theories. I wouldn't be surprised if he supports the QAnon as well. or the flat earthers at the same time launching their rockets to the moon. Elon is the billionaire genius, but he acts like a 10-year-old boy with some psychological traumas. My friends, now press the like to this video, and also don't forget to check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may find the Atlas VPN Premium with the Black Friday discount. It has never been so cheap as it is right now. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.